ಹಾಯ್ ಹೆಲೋ ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್, ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಸಾಧನಾ ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿ ಶಿಕಾರಿಪುರ ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಚಾನಲ್ಗೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತ. ಸೊ ಟುಡೇ we are going to cover landforms, a topic in a geography. My name is Shrinath Pandav. So let's proceed with the topic. So before going to the topic, I want to share one story. What is the story? So there was a village, and in village there was a drought. So everyone is praying for the rain, and every villagers had a meeting, and they decided to gather at one day for the praying of a rain. When they have gathered, only one boy taken the umbrella and came out, and rest were or without umbrella. So the moral of the story here is, when someone is coming with the umbrella, he is having the faith in that, means he is having the faith in the prayer. Why I am sharing this story is, we all aspirants are preparing for the exams, but when we have not results, we are get upset. Just have a faith in yourself. If you don't get the results, you will be land on the other side. Don't take tensions on you. Just have other plans for your futures. So before going to the landform topic, just have a statistics of the landforms. What are the statistics of the landforms? If we consider total entire earth, it is around 510 million square kilometer. It is considering it as a total earth. When this earth is divided into land and water, the land is 149 million square kilometer and water is 361 million square kilometers. This is the total landform that we can see, means this is the statistics that we can see in the earth. And in this 149 million square kilometer, this land is not evenly distributed. What is meaning that it is not evenly distributed? Means it is composed of various landforms. For example, mountains on one side and plateaus and plains. For example, mountains, plateaus, plains. So here they are given total area of the earth 510 million square kilometer, water is 361 million square kilometer, land 149 million square kilometer. Land area is not evenly distributed. It includes three major landforms. Total landforms, if we classify the total landforms, it is classified into three majors and many minor landforms. Three major landforms and many minor landforms we have. What are the major landforms we have? One is mountains, plateaus and plains. These are the three major landforms that we have, and many minor landforms include valleys, hills and gorges. Let's discuss one by one. Mountains. When we come to the mountains, we have to know the difference between the mountains and the hills. What is the difference between the mountains and the hills? So it is the difference is only the height. So here when we consider mountain, it is also have elevated height and sharp top, and this hills also have elevated height and sharp top. So here lies the difference is, if the height more than 900 meters, it is mountain. If the height less than 900 meters, it is hills. So it is the main difference between the mountains and the hills. Next, when we come to the plateaus, plateaus are the elevated landmass and flat top. Elevated landmass, flat top. It is known as plateau. Plains are the ones which are nearly to the mean sea level. So there is no more height. And minor landforms include valleys, hills and gorges. Valleys means if there is a V-shaped structure between the mountains is known as V-shaped valley. Considering this as a mountain, this as a mountain, the V-shape here structure is known as valley. Hills, now we have discussed difference between the mountains and the hills. And when we come to the gorges, it is also a structure between the two mountains is known as gorges. It may be it is nearly to U shape is known as gorges. Now we have seen the major classification. What classification? In the major landforms we have seen mountains, plateaus, plains, and in the minor landforms valleys, hills, gorges. So let us discuss the major landforms one by one. Major landforms, first we look at the mountains. Mountains is defined as the elevated landmass with sharp top is known as mountain. As I have told that it has a elevated landmass, elevated means vertical height, sharp top is known as mountains. Difference between mountain and hills, as we have discussed earlier, if the mountains, if the height is more than 900 meters, it is a mountains. If the height is more than less than 900 meters, it is hills. So here, if the height more than 900, then it is considered as a mountain. If the height less than 900 meters, it is known as hills. Mountain range. Let's now, when we are studying about the mountains, we have to know the differences between the mountain ranges and mountain chain. So first, looking at the mountain range, group of mountains that formed with similar process and during same time. Here in the mountain range, similar process to be happen and at same time. These are the two keywords that defines the mountain range. There should be a similar process and that should be formed at the same time. For example, Himalayan ranges. In Himalayan ranges, we see Himalayas, lesser Himalayas, and Shivaliks, greater Himalayas, middle Himalayas, and Shivaliks. These are the three Himalayan ranges we can see in the Himalayan mountains. These are nearly formed at the 50 million year ago. So what was the condition for the mountain range? One, it should be formed through the similar process. What is the similar process? It is formed through the continent convergence. So it is the same for greater Himalayas also, it is a continent convergence. For middle Himalayas also, it is a continent convergence, and Shivaliks also it has the continent convergence. And at the same time means not this exact at the same time, but at the same time period. There may be a variation between the years. So these are formed between the 50 million years ago. Himalayan ranges, that is Himalayas, Himadri and Shivaliks, are formed near the 15 million years ago. Hence we can call it as a mountain range. And then what about mountain chain? Group of mountain ranges at different time periods, and these are formed at the different time periods. For example, Himalayas are formed at the 50 million year ago, at the whereas Aravalis we can see in the which we can see in the Indian region near Punjab Haryana region, which is formed around 360 million years ago. So the time period is different, hence these are known as the mountain chains. Mountain chains means different time period, whereas mountain ranges means same process with same time period. Example, Aravalli mountains are formed at 360 million years ago and Himalayas are formed at 50 million years ago. Aravalli are also known as the oldest mountain range of India, whereas Himalayas youngest mountain range of India. So we have discussed so far we have discussed about the mountains. Now we can move on to the classification of mountains. Based on the process of formation, based on the what process has been involved, the mountains can be classified into 5 categories. 1. Fold mountain, 2nd block mountain, 3rd volcanic mountains, 4th dome mountain also called as continental mountain, and relict mountain or residual mountain. These are the types of mountains that we can see. So let us look one by one in a detail. Fold mountains. When we come to the fold mountains, these mountains are formed due to the convergent plate movements. So you should have the knowledge about the plate movements or plate tectonics. To plate tectonics theory, there existed earlier theories, then came the plate tectonics. Which are the earliest theories? First, continental drift theory. This was given by Alfred Wegener. Next came the sea floor spreading theory. After that, which theory came means conventional current theory, and at last came the plate tectonic theory. And if we learn the plate tectonic theory, it is easy to know and understand the convergent plate movements and divergent plate movements. Now I will give the gist of the plate tectonic theory, where you have to just understand about the convergent plate and divergent plate. So to understand the plates, first we convergent plate and divergent plate, we should know about the what is a plate. In the interior of earth lecture, I have discussed what is the plate. There I discussed about the crust, mantle and core. In the crust, after crust there is a upper part of upper mantle which consists of the asthenosphere. This crust and the asthenosphere together form the lithosphere, and this lithosphere is considered as the plate, and this plate movements happens. For example, in the earlier period, this is the equator we can consider. Earlier times India was at southern hemisphere, but today India we can see it at northern hemisphere, in the eastern northern hemisphere. So this has the movement taken place. For the Indian the plate that moved is called as Indo-Australian plate. So the plate moves. How the Indo-Australian plate moved, at the same case in the North American plate, South America plate, Eurasia plate and other plates. They have been moving since long time. So here what happens is, we have to understand about the plates. In these plates there is a classification. What classification? Some plates are purely continental, means only they have continent part, and some plates have purely oceanic, means only they have oceanic part. Here example, Pacific Ocean plate, and some plates are mixed version of this, mixed version of continent and ocean. Here, to understand the convergent and divergent, these plates moves. How it moves? When one plate move towards each other, one plate and other plate move towards each other, we can call it as convergent moment. When one plate and other plate move away from each other, this is the first case where we can see the convergent plate moment, and this is the second case, we can see the here divergent plate. And the third case is the plate moves parallel to each other. This is moving in this direction, this is moving in this direction, is called transform plate. So now I think you have got the idea about the convergent plate moment, divergent plate moment, transform plate moment, and we are seeing the four moments. These four moments are formed by the convergent plate moments. Convergent means the two plates moving towards each other and forming the landforms. For example, Himalayas. Here there is a Eurasian plate here, and Indian plate is coming and colliding here, forming the mountains, Himalayan mountains. Eurasian plate, Indo-Australian plate. So here it is colliding. It includes mountains formed by continent convergence and ocean continent convergence, and it is a pure example of continent convergence. Himalayan mountains are the examples of the continent convergence, and these landforms, the four mountains, are also formed through the ocean continent convergences. For example, Rockies mountain. Rockies mountains are formed due to continental plate of North America and the oceanic plate. Rockies mountains are formed due to these plates. Now coming to the most of the well known fold mountains ranges in the world. Most of the well known fold mountain ranges in the world includes Rocky Mountains in North America, Appalachian Mountains in eastern Northern America, Andes Mountains in Southern America, Atlas in South African continent, Alps in European continent, Urals in Eurasian continent, and Caucasus mountain near the Mediterranean sea regions, and Himalayan mountains in the Indian region. These are some of the well known fold mountains ranges in the world. Next, now we have seen the fold mountains. Coming to the second classification of mountains, it is a block mountain. These mountains formed due to the divergent plate movement. Now I have given the brief idea about the convergent plate movements and the divergent plate movements. You can easily grasp about the divergent plate movement. Here the plates move opposite to each other, forming the landform or anything mountain cells. Graben and host related to the block mountain. What happens here is when the force is exerted opposite, for example here is a landmass and the force is exerted opposite, there creates a fracture, and this fractures further force application, this fracture forms the host and graben. The land can be seen like this now. Here it is forms host graben. Hence these host and grabens are related to the block mountains. So if they want to frame the questions, they can directly ask host and grabens are related to the which landforms. Here it is a graben, that is a U-shaped type structure is known as graben, and the topmost structure is known as host. For example, for block mountain are Sierra Nevada, it is in USA, and Black Forest in Germany. These are the two examples of block mountains. You can see through the diagram here. What happens is there is a land, it is a total land, and there is a pressure acting opposite to each other. When the pressure is acting, there creates a tension crack or faults, and further extension of further application of this force, it leads to the formation of graben and host. Host is this part, host, and it is a graben, and it is also called as a graben valley, and sometimes water forms here called as a basin lake or graben lake. It is the diagram for the block mountain. Now we have covered in mountains, types of mountains, we have covered fold mountain and block mountain. Now let us cover about the volcanic mountain. When it comes to the volcanic mountain, here we have to understand when the volcano emerges. For example, here it is a volcano, magma is coming out. When magma it is a magma. When magma come outside, it is called as lava. When magma erupts outside, it doesn't comes only, it don't only gives the lava, but other materials also it gives, that is rocks, debris, ashes, gases, water vapor. These are all the other components that gives by the magma eruption. So in this volcanic mountain, here also their classification comes based on the formation of the mountains on which material. When the lava is dominating, it is called as lava mountain. And when other materials like rocks, debris, gases, water vapor, it is called as pyroclastic material. So let us know about through this slide. Volcanic mountains. These mountains forms due to volcanic activities. Volcanic mountains are called as volcanic because these are formed due to volcanic activities. Based on source of material for mountain formation, volcanic mountains are classified into, based on the material source, the volcanic mountains are classified into one lava mountains and pyroclastic mountains. Lava mountains forms due to solidification of lava. These lava mountains are formed due to solidification of lava. Here lava dominates. Why these are called as lava mountains means here lava dominates over other mountains. Here example is Mount Etna and Stromboli. If we know the map of the Mediterranean Sea, here comes the Italy and here comes the Mount Stromboli and Mount Etna. So these are the two examples for lava mountains. The Stromboli lava mountain is called as the lighthouse of the Mediterranean Sea. Why it is called as the light of the Mediterranean Sea? When Stromboli erupts, it gives light to the total Mediterranean region. Hence, it is called as the lighthouse of the Mediterranean Sea. So now what you have seen is volcanic mountains. In that volcanic mountain, two classification, lava mountains and pyroclastic mountains. In lava mountains, lava dominates, and for that we have seen two examples. One is Mount Etna and Mount Stromboli. Mount Stromboli is called as a lighthouse of the Mediterranean Sea. And in pyroclastic mountains, pyroclast meaning rocks, debris and ashes, and here example is Krakatoa. Krakatoa erupts in Indonesian region. It is a example for pyroclastic volcanic mountains. So see here, it is a magma. Magma when erupts outside is called as lava. It does not only give the lava, it also gives ashes, rocks, debris, water vapor, gases and other materials. So when the mountain forms due to the lava, dominated by lava, it is called as lava mountains. When the mountains dominated by rock, debris, water vapor, gases and other materials, it is called as pyroclastic volcanic mountains. Now coming to the continental mountains. So far we have seen the, in types of mountains, we have seen the fold mountain, block mountain, volcanic mountain. Now let us see about the continental mountain. These mountains form due to the upliftment of land or earth surface due to force exerted by magma. Here what happens is, it is a land, flat land, but what happens when magma is exerting pressure, it is not erupting but exerting pressure. This becomes a dome like structure. Magma is not erupting but it is exerting pressure, hence it is formed, the structure is formed like this, is called as dome or continental mountain. These mountains form due to the upliftment of land on or earth surface due to the force exerted by the magma. Example, mountains in Maharashtra. Here it is a flat land, totally flat land, but the magma is exerting force, it is forming the bulge like structure, is known as continental or dome mountain. It is a dome mountain. Relics mountain. Relics or residual mountains. Relics are also called as residual mountains. What happens here is, these are the landforms that forms, for example mountains forms, plateaus forms and other landforms forms, but these are also subject to the external agents. External agents like wind, water, glacier, humans and others. Due to this gets eroded and forms a little mountains or little plateaus. Hence this eroded mountain or eroded plateau is known as residual or relict mountain. Residual means remaining. Types: original mountains can be fold, block, volcanic, dome. The original mountains can be, it may be fold, it may be block, it may be volcanic, it may be dome, but after erosion it can be called as residual fold, residual block, residual volcanic, residual dome. See here, it is the mountains that has formed, but due to the erosion the mountains has been reduced to this much, and finally it has been reduced to this, it is called as a residual or relict. So based on the which mountains has been eroded, the name has been given for that. For example, if the fold mountain gets eroded, it is called as residual fold. If the block mountains gets eroded, it is called as residual block. If the volcanic mountains gets eroded, it is called residual volcanic. If the dome mountain gets, or dome or continental mountains get eroded, it is a residual dome. Next, mountains are subject to the weather and erosion by activities through various agents like wind, glacier and humans, that I have explained earlier. Next, now coming to the plateaus. We are seeing landforms. In that landforms we have seen the mountains. In mountains we have seen the classification of mountains. Now let us look at the plateaus. Plateaus are elevated landmass with flat top are known as plateaus. It is a elevated landmass with flat top are known as plateaus. Here it is elevated and flat top is known as plateaus. As it looks like table, hence known as tableland. So these plateaus looking like table, hence known also these plateaus are known as tablelands. As plateaus having plains on their top, these plateaus also having the plains on the top, hence also known as high plains. As plateaus includes deposits of various minerals, also known as mineral land. So we can call the plateaus by different names. One is tableland, one is high plains, one is mineral land. As we have seen in mountains, there is a classification of mountains. Same in the case of plateaus, there is a classification of plateaus. Based on the structure and process of formation, plateaus are broadly classified into 5 categories. That is intermountain plateau, piedmont plateau, volcanic plateau, continental or dome plateau, residual or relic plateau. Here it has been seen in the mountains, so it cannot be a problem for you to learn now, but intermountain and piedmont plateau we can see in detail. Volcanic plateau, as we have seen in the volcanic mountains, same concept applies here. Continental or dome plateau, as we have seen the continental or dome mountains, so the same concept applies here. Residual or relic plateau, as we have seen in the residual or relic mountains, so the same concept applies here. Now let us look at the detail about all this, but far detail about the intermountain and piedmont plateau. What happens is, first coming to the intermountain plateau. Here inter meaning middle, mountain means mountain. So plateaus that are formed between the mountains, middle or between. Plateaus that are formed between the mountains are known as intermountain. Considering this as the mountain, plateau, mountain, intermountain plateau. For example, for intermountain plateau is, there is a Tibetan plateau. You have been all heard about the Tibetan plateau. Tibetan plateau is between, in the south there is a Himalayan mountain, in the north there is a Kunlun mountain. So intermountain plateau is it is a plateau between the two mountains. The best example is the Tibetan plateau, where it is a sandwiched between the Himalayan mountains in the south and Kunlun mountains in the north. So next coming about the Piedmont plateau. Piedmont means at the foot of mountains. The plateaus that forms at the foot of the mountain is known as Piedmont plateau. For example, considering a mountain, at the foot of mountain, if the plateaus forms, it is known as Piedmont plateau. The next it may be plains or seas. Mountain, plateau, plain. So it is a example for Piedmont plateau. Here what happens is, one side it is a mountain, or other side it may be a plain or sea, and at mid it is a plateau. Here best example is Malwa plateau. Malwa plateau is between Aravalli hills and here there is Mewar plain. So the best example for the Piedmont plateau is the Malwa plateau. Where it is a sandwiched between the Mewar plain in the south, whereas Aravalli hills in the north. These are the total detailed explanation of the intermountain and the Piedmont plateau. Now let's look in the detail. Intermountain plateau. Inter meaning between, mountain meaning mountains. Plateaus that located between the mountains is known as intermountain plateau. Plateaus that been located between the mountains are known as intermountain plateau. The best example is Tibetan plateau, as I have discussed earlier. Tibetan plateau located between Kunlun mountains in the north and Himalayan mountains in the south. It is a plateau, it is a Kunlun mountain, it is a Himalayan mountain. So it is a best example for intermountain plateau. Tibetan plateau is the best example. Next, Piedmont plateau. Piedmont meaning at the foot of the mountain. At the foot of the mountain, if the plateau is formed, it is called as Piedmont plateau. Plateau that located at the foot of the bottom of mountains. Main feature of the Piedmont plateau is it includes mountains on one side and plains or waters on the other side. Here what happens, on one side it is a mountain is a fixed, but on the other side it may be a plain or water, depends. Example here Malwa plateau, as I have discussed earlier, Malwa plateau located at the foot of the Aravalli hills and Mewar plains. Here what happens is, if considering it is a Malwa plateau, here it is Aravalli hills, here it is not a sea, it is a Mewar plain. Next type of classification of plateaus, it is a volcanic plateau. As we have seen in the mountains, the volcanic mountains, there is a two classification, lava mountain and pyroclastic mountain. Same the case the case is with the plateaus. Here also there exists a lava plateau and pyroclastic plateau. Plateaus formed by volcanic activities. Plateaus formed by volcanic activities are volcanic plateau, two types, lava plateau, pyroclastic plateau. For both the example is Deccan lava plateau. Next, as we have earlier discussed that if the lava dominates, it is a lava plateau. If the pyroclastic materials like rocks, debris dominates, it is a pyroclastic plateau. Continental plateau. The next type of plateau is continental plateau. So far we have seen in plateaus, intermountain plateau, Piedmont plateau, volcanic plateau. Now we are seeing about the continental plateau. Forms due to the upliftment of land due to the force exerted by the magma from the bottom. It is formed due to the upliftment of land due to the force exerted by the magma from the bottom. Here also the example is Maharashtrian plateau. Next, residual plateau. Residual plateaus are formed, residual are also called as relict plateau. Plateaus formed due to the erosion through external agents. Example, plateaus in MP and Rajasthan. These are the residual, best example of the residual plateau. Now, in landforms, we have covered mountains and plateaus. Now, let us discuss about the plains. What about plains? Plains are lowlands or flatlands. The elevation is nearly to the mean sea level. So, it is a lowlands or flatlands. Earth, for example, as we have seen the statistics, Earth is about 510 million square kilometer, ocean is around 361 million square kilometer, land is around 149 million square kilometer. If we consider land, in the land there is a plain which constitutes about 55%, mountains 27%, plateaus 18%. So, it also shows the uneven distribution of land. So, plains are flatlands. If you consider total earth as a 510 million square kilometer, ocean is 361 million square kilometer, land is 149 million square kilometer. In that, plains constitute a major chunk, that is about 55%, mountains about 27% and plateaus around 18%. So, next coming to the types of plains. As we have discussed, in mountains are different types, plateaus different types. So, in plains also has the different types. Considering the different types of plains, first one is erosional plain, second depositional plain, third structural plain. So, erosional plains formed due to the continuous and prolonged erosion by agents like winds, waters and humans is known as erosional plains. Depositional plains, these plains form due to the deposition of sediments carried by agents like winds, running water, glaciers, etc. When the land plains form due to the continuous and prolonged erosion by the winds, rainfalls and humans is known as erosional plains. When these agents also act as a depositional plains, when they do deposition. In depositional plains, there is also a classification. Types of depositional plain. Based on the agents of deposition and which agent is depositing, there is a 4 major categories. One is riverine plain. If plains are formed by the rivers and its tributaries, is known as riverine plain. For example, we can take here as Indus plains or Ganga plain. Lacustrine plain, plains formed by the lakes are known as lacustrine plain. Glacial plain, plains formed by the glacier are known as glacial plain. Lowest plains, plains formed by the winds are known as lowest plains. Here it is example in China, especially Mongolian region. We can find lowest plain. Next, last classification of the plains is the structural plain. Plains formed due to the plate tectonic is known as structural plain. So friends, thank you.